what you call it now? We are live, yes, right here at the Good Fight every Tuesday night from 7 to 8 o'clock p.m. And I am so glad that you have joined us. I'm so grateful always for your presence in this space. I don't care when you show up. I don't care why you show up. I don't care how you show up. I'm just glad that you showed up. If this is your first time joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you always join us, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you join whenever you feel like it, everybody is welcome in this space in the spirit of Sawubona, which is the oneness that binds us together through our humanity. And this space is created for us to wrestle with our faith, for us to make sure that we know 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 that the way that we present is the manifestation of our faith in the way that we hope it to be. Because a lot of times we think we showing up one way, but we're actually showing up another way. And so because faith is such an integral part of our lives, those of you who are interested in the conversation, then I really think it's important for us to manage that faith and to see how it guides our interactions with other people so that we can make sure that our faith is not harmful, that our faith is not traumatizing, that our faith is not discriminatory, that our faith really is what we believe it should be. And then what you believe it should be, of course, is independent. It's individual because it's based on your relationship with your God. If you are joining us for the very first time, I want to make sure that let me back up just a minute. I need to say this. Someone talked to me not too long ago, and they told me that they joined the live, and then they were like, I was confused. And so I didn't want to keep watching, so I just let it go. So they got off the live. And as I continued to think about, that's all they said. And I was like, okay, I created space for them to say whatever they wanted to say. That's all they wanted to say. And what was important for me was to just continue to think about that, because whenever I receive a critique or a compliment, it doesn't matter either way, I do want to make sure that I'm giving it my due diligence, to at least think about it, at least consider it before I accept it or reject it. And so just because somebody compliments me, I don't necessarily believe the compliment, right? Like, it depends on who it is. It depends on what happened just now. Like, it's a whole lot of stuff. And when somebody critiques me, I don't take it as some kind of, like I'm doing something wrong or there's something wrong with me. Again, I want to consider it. I want to deliberate on it. And before I make a decision about what to do about it. And so I spent some time thinking, and I was wondering I was asking myself if there is a space that I could see how what's happening here might confuse some. And I found a space, and I said, I should say this. I should say it. I should write it. And so today is my first day saying, this is a space where we are working to decolonize our faith, meaning that we are working to make sure that our faith is pure and it is raw and it is just and it is free from the confines of the constructs of religion. That we are operating in our faith based on the instinctual spirit that lives within us, that we believe is connected to someone higher, something, some force bigger than we are. That's what this space is about. And it's done through the lens of Black liberation theology. So I need to make sure that I say that and say that out loud. I've been operating that way, but it just never done. I don't know why I didn't done. That's why conversation is so important. And that's why you have to be open to receive whatever it is a person wants to say about you. So don't be so fragile. And so let me say it again. The lens through which this good fight is presented is Black liberation theology. So if that's not something you're comfortable with, if that's not something you like, if that's not something that you're interested in, then know that and click off so that you won't feel that I've misled you, so that you won't feel duped, so that you won't feel any of those feels. I like to say that, feel all the feels. So you won't feel any of those feels. Okay, now, having said that, if this is your first time joining us for the good fight, there are ways that you can engage with us on this night, and ways that you can engage with us beyond this night. One of the ways that you can engage the good fight is to locate yourself in the story. It's to really recognize that you are playing one of the roles in the characters. The Bible is a collection of stories. Stories have characters. Characters play roles, and people can move in and out of those roles as they evolve in their charactership. And we move in and out of roles as we evolve in our humanity. And so, where are you in the story? And how do you feel about that? Like, is this where you want to be? And if so, engage that. If not, engage that. And then at some point, you got to make a decision about whether or not you're going to do something about what you learn about yourself. And that's all up to you. Second way that you can engage in the good fight is to look through a window. And so you are centering someone else's story. This is not a space where you can say, oh, yeah, Rick, you know what? I've done that before. I've said that before. I felt that before. You know what? I share that bias too. I might as well be like, you can't do that because this is foreign to you. You've never experienced it. You know nothing about it. And yet you are willing to say, I'm open to hear somebody else's story. I'm open to receive their story as gifts. I'm open to believing that there's something about this story that can change me somehow, some way, someday. And so you receive the story and you allow the spirit, you allow the work, you allow it to do what it's going to do. Let it do what it do. A third way that you can engage in a good fight is to walk through a door. So my hope is that the conversation won't end here, that at some point beyond this moment, beyond the 8 o'clock hour, you will continue to think about, engage, challenge, wrestle with, be frustrated with what is said in this space. And you'll chase that. If it requires you to do more research, more reading, have more conversations, go to different places, get different friends, get rid of some friends, like whatever that means, then that is the hope. And then also you can engage right here. You can write your comments in and I can post them up on the little screen so that we can talk about it. I will not be able to respond to you on the screen because if I respond to you, it's going to go to the YouTube page and none of us will see it. So, okay. That is the introduction that I give every single week. And now let's talk about the topic for tonight, which is, I want to say the topic is not just the Bible. I want to say that's the topic. Or maybe I said just the Bible. And whenever I use 2 question marks, I got this little, what? This little stank face. And so I was talking, this has happened to me twice now. It happened to me 2 years ago. And it happened to me quite recently where someone asks me, now they ask me how I feel about the Bible. I tell them how I feel about the Bible and they get offended. They get offended because I say that I do not believe all the stories in the Bible. I do not even believe that the Bible is functioning in the way that it was meant to function because it was never meant to function. I believe that one of the worst things that we could have done was to create the Bible because now by writing it and inscribing it and putting it in, what do you call that language? I used to talk to my student, frozen language. Then now we think we know because I got a book that tells me. Now we think we fully understand because I got a book that I can reference. Now we think that we get it because I can read some words that somebody wrote. And I now believe with all of my heart, mind, body, soul, spirit, and strength that I understand God. And I feel like believing that and thinking that and putting this in writing so that people could be led to believe and think that deprives us of the joy of being open to God in whatever form God takes to do whatever it is that God wants to do, when, where, and how, to whom, and for whom. Then let God be God and let us get in on the flow of the Spirit and rock with it. And so I feel some kind of way about the Bible. And I am a student of the Word. I have been reading it since I was a child. I went to seminary and I studied it. I've been a pulpit pastor for 6 years. I've been an associate pastor for 2 years. I've been in ministry since 1997. The Bible has been an intricate part of my life. We are companions. We have an intimate relationship, even though I take issue with it. And so both of these people said to me out of their mouths that I don't have a right to say anything about the Bible because I don't respect it enough. Because I don't revere it, because I don't honor it, because it's not sacred to me, because it is not the Lord's word, and it's not infallible, then you should not open your mouth about the Bible. That's what they said to me. Baby, let me tell you the first time what happened when they said it. Let me tell you. It's making I think the glass is making me, but then I need to be able to see. The first, I need to be honest here. The first time that the person said that to me, it shook me because I wasn't expecting it. And I wasn't expecting it because I thought I knew the person and I thought we understood each other better. It's kind of like what happened the first time Donald Trump decided to announce his candidacy for president. And then you began to see people who joined his campaign that you would not have expected because you've been in a relationship with them for like 3 to 5 years or maybe even 6 months. And you're like, wait, what? And then they're looking at you like, what you doing over there? So you have this kind of come to Jesus moment where you have to take a really good look at yourselves and say, oh, I didn't know that we were on different pages. Doesn't necessarily mean that the relationship has to be severed, but it does mean that either we're going to have more conversation or we not. And we have to figure that out. And so that is why I think it shook me, was because I didn't think this particular person felt that way about my feelings about our Bible, because this person is a student of the Bible as well. And so I didn't handle it well. I was like, don't you ever in life again, first of all, tell me what I can and can't do. Let's talk about that. So it did not end well. It did not. I could have handled it better. I could have. But I stand 10 toes down on what I said. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. I will stand on it. But I could have done it differently. So this time when the person said it, I was like, oh, okay, I've been here. I've done this. All right, let's go. So I did it. I wasn't as concerned about it at all. Hey, Takia. So I really wasn't that worried about it. Like, it didn't prick my spirit and my soul the same way that it did when the first person told me I didn't have no business talking about the Bible. But I did want to, again, consider this. Like, what do you mean? And the best way I can describe my response to any of these questions is to offer to you this quote from James Baldwin. I want you... Takia said, babe, I came in at the right time. I stood 10 toes down and I said what I said. I knew what you were saying. I knew you were saying down. That's what I said. Yes, somebody told me, I don't know if you heard that part, but somebody told me because I don't love the Bible the way that they do, in the way that they think I should, if I talk about being a pastor or being a reverend and all of that, then I don't have a right to talk about the Bible. And I did not handle it well, but I meant what I said. And I will say it again, and I'm going to stand out. So that's the part that you missed. And so I want to offer to you, because I really believe that there are others of you who are experiencing this, maybe not in the faith space, but people have declared because of whatever it is that they're thinking about you. And it might be about a societal construct. It might be because you are Black. It might be because you are a woman. It might be because you are not Black. It might be because you are thicker than a Snicker. Like, whatever it is a person makes up in their mind when they look at you and when they think about you, and then determine what your capacity, they're going to determine for you what your capacity is, and then have the audacity to share with you as if their word is law or if they are God. So if you are feeling that, or if you've ever felt that, or in the event that happens to you, I want to offer you this quote from James Baldwin for you to just snag and put in your file cabinet, and then just hold it in your pocket and just whip it out in case you need it. If you don't need it, then don't worry about it. But I want to offer this quote to you because this is how I feel in response to both of those people who basically said the same thing to me. Denise, you do not have a right to talk about the Bible because you don't respect it enough. Because if you don't believe every word in it, if you don't believe that God said it, then you don't need to have an opinion about it. That's what they said to me. Let's see what Takia is saying. I missed out. It just came in on that line. But no matter what, I usually completely agree if anyone ever pulls that line out. But it's so much better to have the context. Yes, 2 people told me that I don't have a right to say anything about the Bible because I don't believe in it fully. Because I've said that before. I don't believe all these stories. I don't believe all this stuff in here. And then I will also go on to say, but I do believe there are some principles in the Bible that I absolutely positively apply to my life on the regular. So the Bible is a very important book to me. It's just not what my mama told me it was. It's just not what y'all done taught me that it is. And so they told me, girl, that you don't have the rights. Baby, don't first, and this is the part you missed. I said, first of all, don't you ever in life again tell me what I can and can't do. So you already know from there, it didn't go well. So here is this quote from James Baldwin that I want to offer to you in case you find yourself in this situation, and also so that you can better understand me, those of you who might still be wondering. Maybe some of y'all wondering too, and y'all just didn't say it to me, which is fine. Here's what James Baldwin says. James Baldwin says, I love America more than any other country in the world. And exactly for this reason, I insist on the right to criticize her perpetually. Let me read that again. I love me some James Baldwin, Black man, author. I love him. Civil rights activist, unapologetic, talking about standing 10 toes down, coming for the system every chance he gets through every genre he can use. Like, yes, James Baldwin. He says, I love America more than any other country in the world. And exactly for this reason, I insist on the right to criticize her perpetually. So that's how I feel. Because I am in relationship with someone that I call God, and because that relationship is real for me, I have the right to say whatever I want to say about my own personal relationship with my own personal God. And nobody else gets to tell me how to function in my own relationship. But because I am in relationship, that's just like saying to parents, okay, parents, don't criticize your children. You got to make sure that you always with them. Just let them do whatever they want to do. No, the Bible you can't just interpret the Bible any kind of way. You're not gonna just tell me to read the story. Just read the words like they are. No, I am going to take a critical eye through the lens of Black liberation theology, and I'm going to apply it so that I can rock on in my relationship. Because I'm just like James Baldwin. I have the right to criticize, and that's what I'm gonna do. Oh, Takia said we studied this quote in one of my high school English classes. But listen, James Baldwin, Giovanni's Room, The Fire Next Time. I can't even think about all of the his friendships with Lorraine Hansberry. Like he's amazing. So yes, I feel that way. And again, I'm offering that as a response for me, for those of you who are wondering about me, but also in case you find yourself in that situation, it might help you also. That because you are in a relationship, you get to ask questions, you get to push back, you get to challenge, you get to compliment, you get to love, you get to disagree, you get to do all of those things when you are in relationship. And I am in relationship with God and the Bible. And Jesus too. Jesus too. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to critique my relationship the same way that I critique my friendships, my romantic relationships. I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, so that was said. That was done. And so I wanted to, that experience made me think about how much we revere the Bible. Because the Bible said it, it's like, oh my goodness, now this trumps everything else. Like the Bible is the ultimate source of all information, and anything that you want, anything that you need, it has to come from the Bible, because we've decided that the Bible is actually not even a name. Some of us have decided it is an acronym that stands for basic instructions before leaving earth. So if you want to die and go to heaven, the only way you can get there is through this Bible. And so I'm challenging that notion tonight, that the only place that you can seek your source of refuge or healing or strength or love, whatever it is you're looking for, you can go to the Bible if you want to, but that's not the only place that you can go. And I'm going to call on our dear sister, who is no longer with us, Octavia Estelle Butler, to help me with this conversation. No, I think maybe I should start with the scripture. Yeah, let's start with the scripture and then bring in Octavia E. Butler. And for those, maybe I should say a word or two about Octavia Butler. She recently, well, I say recently, but she passed away. Her energy shifted in 2006. She is a science fiction writer, one of the only Black women science fiction writers among us. And she has done amazing work in helping us to see ourselves futuristically, to take the experiences of this world, to take slavery, to take Reconstruction, to take modernity, to take all of what is happening in and around us, past, present, and think about what that could look like in the future. And she gives us an idea of how to move beyond the present moment, how not to get stuck in whatever is going on now, believing that this is all there is. There is a way out for us to be liberated, all of us. There's a way out, and here's what it could look like. And so she offers this to us through her science fiction, and it is absolutely amazing. The first book I read from her, Parable of the Sower. What I'm reading now is Kindred. They actually made a movie about Kindred that is like, not exactly, but you know. So that's Octavia Butler. So I'm going to bring her in just a moment and allow her to hold space with us tonight as we talk through this idea, because I am challenging the notion. I want to be crystal clear about what I'm doing. I'm challenging this idea that the only place that you can find what you need for your spiritual life is in the Bible. That is what I'm challenging on tonight. And that is why I think the flyer says just the Bible, or not just the Bible, or something like that. All right, so here we go with the text. The text is coming from John chapter 24, verses... Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Okay, so it's John 24 through 25. That's what I'm going to start with. John 24 through 25. I'm reading from the Message translation of the Bible. For no reason at all. It was the first one that popped up on the screen when I pulled up BibleGateway.com, and I just ran with it. So there's nothing. Don't read anything into it. It's just the Message. So here we go. Listen to this. Okay, y'all can't see that because I don't know if y'all can see that or not. Thomas, is that what this says? Sometimes called the twin, one of the 12, talking about the disciples, was not with them when Jesus came. Oh, wait a minute. My bad. I need to give y'all some context. So this passage of the Bible, this pericope, this part of the Bible that I have pulled out for us to consider on tonight, this is about the resurrection. So this is about after Jesus has been crucified and Mary goes to the tomb. She's looking for Jesus because she wants to know what happened to him, because she loved him. I'm talking about love, baby. So she loved him. And this Mary Magdalene, it could be the other Mary, but Mary Magdalene was in love with him. They were, But Mary goes to the tomb and she's looking for Jesus, and he is not there. She is horrified, like, oh my goodness, I saw him. Like, I know this is where he's supposed to be. What's going on? So she runs back to the disciples, particularly Peter and John, and she says, hey, Jesus ain't here. They like, what? And so they take off running. Let me tell you something about John. John, baby, John is gonna slip in. He gonna slip in a little jab or two. John gonna slip in a jab or two every chance he gets. So John and Peter are responding to Mary, and they take off running. And John is like, they were neck and neck. And then he'll say, but I got there first. Or he'll say, Peter was there, and then came the disciple that God loves, talking about himself. He tickles me, baby. He wants you to know I think of myself highly, baby, highly. So they're running and they're neck and neck, and they get there, but John gets there first, and then they're like, oh my goodness, where is Jesus? Like, what's going on? And so they leave and go home. But Mary stays, and she goes in, and she's just like, y'all look, so that's where she is. And she notices that there are two angels that are inside of the tomb. One of them is sitting at where Jesus's head would have lain in the tomb, and the other one is sitting at where Jesus's feet would have been. And they like, girl, what's wrong with you? Yeah, that's why I love the Bible. The angel's like, girl, what is wrong with you? She like, I don't know what they did with Jesus. Like, baby, he ain't here. Like, clearly he ain't here, but they like, girl, he ain't here. And so they want to know like where he is. Okay, so Jesus appears to Mary, and she doesn't know who he is at first. She doesn't recognize who he is. She doesn't know until he calls her name. And when he calls her name, she recognizes that voice. Let's just pause for a moment and think about the people in our lives whose voices we can recognize. I don't care where we are. I don't care what we doing. I don't care who's around us. If this person calls your name, you know who it is without a shadow of a doubt. And I can't help but think about my mama. I can hear her calling my name right now. And then I don't know if this happens in other cultures, but I do know that it happens in Black culture, where if they call your whole name, not only do you recognize who it is, but you also know that you are in trouble if they call your whole name. And so Mary, because she's always been in intimate relationship, as soon as she was introduced to Jesus, they've always been in intimate relationship. So she recognized his voice, and he was like, don't touch me. You can't touch me now. Okay. So Jesus then appears to the disciples. They appear to the disciples, but Thomas is not with them at the time. So the disciples see Jesus, and then they tell Thomas, we saw Jesus. And Thomas like, what? And so that's where we're picking up the story, where Thomas is responding to the disciples who told him that they have seen Jesus after he was crucified. And Thomas is dumbfounded. He's dumbstruck. He's discombobulated. I don't know what y'all are talking about. And so here's his response. So we're starting with John 20:24 through 25 from the Message translation, so that we can hear what Thomas says. Wait a minute. Let's see what this is. Oh, wait. So Takia says, I tell people all the time that I go by Kia, because if I hear Takia, you know me. I didn't even think about that, but that is true, because my mama's name, my mama was born, her name Louise. So everybody who knows her up until she went to Jackson State College knows her as Louise. Once she got to Jackson State, she changed her name to Brenda. So from that point on, everybody who knows her calls her Brenda. And that's exactly what she does. If somebody walks up and says Louise, she's like, wait a minute. Because look, they done gone way back if you pull out Louise. And so I totally understand what you're saying. But I didn't, did you go, when you start going by Kia? I didn't know, did I know that? I'm not sure I knew it. Because I'm like, hey, took Kia, so now everybody know I go back. You want me to start calling you Kia? Because I want to call people what they want to be called. So you want me to call you Kia? I'll call you whatever you want me to call you. Okay, so here is John chapter 20, verses 24 through 25 from the Message translation of the Bible. This is Thomas responding to the disciples who have seen Jesus after the crucifixion, but Thomas was not with them, so he did not get that experience. So here it is. Okay, I hope this is not causing too many problems. Okay, see what that first word is. So Thomas, sometimes called the twin, one of the 12, was not with them when Jesus came. The other disciples told him, we saw the master. But Thomas said, unless I see the nail holes in his hands, put my finger in the nail holes, and stick my hand in his side, I won't believe it. That's all I want to read right now. Verses 24 through 25. Let me say that again. Thomas, sometimes called the twin, one of the 12, was not with them when Jesus came. The other disciples told him, we saw the master. But Thomas said, unless I see the nail holes in his hands, put my finger in the nail holes, and stick my hand in his side, I won't believe it. That's Thomas. That's Thomas. I hear what y'all saying, and I'm not even disputing it. I'm not even going to call y'all a lie. All I'm saying is that ain't got nothing to do with me. Whatever y'all saw, whatever y'all went through, whatever y'all felt, whatever your experience was, okay, but it ain't mine. And the only way it's going to be my experience is if I can touch it, if I can see it, if I can know it for myself. That's the only way I'm going to be able to accept it. That's Thomas's response. Let me see. Here we go. Okay. So you started that in college. It's something about college where y'all want to change your name. Want to start out fresh. Let me give you a clean slate. Okay, so I can stick with Takia. All right. Thank you. I'm good. I just was like, oh my goodness, did I miss him? I didn't get the memo. So here's the Bible telling us. So what is the message that Thomas is sending us spiritually? And what Thomas is the message that Thomas is sending us is the same message that we hear in a lot of gospel songs, where either it's sung or it's said or somebody's gonna scat it out. Where even if your mama has a religion, even if your mama knows Jesus, you have got to know Jesus for yourself. Even if your daddy is in relationship with God, you got to know for yourself. You can't live your life. You cannot operate in somebody else's faith. You can't put on their beliefs. You can't pick up what they got and the coat like David. When David got ready to fight Goliath and they took off all the armor and put the armor on him, was like, listen, you got to have something. And the armor was about to knock him down. And he was like, listen, this not me. This is not, I can't wear this. This was not made for me. And so Thomas is saying to us that for me, Thomas, because the other disciples, we ain't talking about them. For Thomas says the only way that I'm going to believe something is if I have my own experience with it. I'm not going to go by what anybody else says. I have to know for myself. And so here's where I want to bring in Octavia Butler for us to have this conversation, because I just want us to think about it. So Octavia Butler writes this book called Kindred. And in the book, there is a main character named Dana, who is a Black woman who is recently married to a man who is, at first I was about to say who just happens to be white, but in this case, it's necessary for him to be white for the storyline. So Dana is, she's a writer. So I feel like Octavia Butler probably sees herself in Dana. She's a writer, and she has the ability to be transported from her 26-year-old self back to the antebellum South. Antebellum South is like 1821 to 1861. So we're talking about show enough dealing with chattel slavery. We have not gotten to the Civil War yet. And so she's going from her full understanding of who she is at 26 to these people that's enslaved. So wait a minute, now I was like what? So just try to imagine this time warp. Like somebody says, okay, I want you to think about what it's like to live in 1821. And you trying to scratch your head trying to figure out, like, girl, look, I can't even come. I got nothing. But in her case, not only do you have to think about it, you are involuntarily thrust in it, and you got to figure it out on the spot. And so that's what this story is about. So at the very beginning, in the prologue, she has her arm has been amputated. It's been amputated because she put it through a door. She put her arm through the door, and it's like through the wall. And it's like the wall ate her arm. I told y'all this is science fiction. It's like the wall ate her arm. And so she's like, what they say on what's that movie? The Clumps. No, is it the Clumps or is it Harlem Nights? I can't remember which one it is. But anyway, somebody about to get to fighting and they say, you gonna walk over here, but you gonna limp back. You gonna reach over here, but you gonna pull back a nub. So she does. This is like you stuck your arm through that wall, but when you pull it out, it is gone. So that's the experience that she is having. And here's what she says. So what I've done is I've only taken a little bit of it. I didn't give you the whole prologue. I've only taken a little bit of it, and I've separated the part that I feel like I want us to focus on. So you got two lines right here, a space, and then the other line. And that line at the bottom is what I want to focus on as we think about what Thomas said. I got to see and know and feel for myself if it's something you want me to believe. So here's this part from the prologue of Octavia Butler's Kindred. Oh, here's what the book, here's the book. That's what that's what my cover looks like. Some people have a book that has a different color, but this is exactly what the book looks like that I'm reading. Okay, so here's Octavia Butler's quote. This is what Dana says. Octavia Butler wrote the book. That's why her name is on there. But the character who says these words, her name is Dana. She said, I felt as though I could have lifted my other hand and touched him. I felt as though I had another hand. I tried to look, and this time he let me. Somehow I had to see to accept what I knew was so. Somehow I had to see to accept what I knew was so. So Dana's like, remember now, I don't have no arm. And I know I don't have any arm. I know I don't have an arm. But I feel like I got an arm. And I need to see it for myself in order to believe it. And so she's like, her husband didn't want her to look. You know how people don't want you to be traumatized. They don't want you to look. I don't want you to look. But I need to see. The only way I'm going to believe that this is my reality is that I need to see it for myself. And so oh, wait. Let me see what's being said. Oh, it was the Clumps. Come on, Cletus. You gonna walk over here, but you gonna limp back. So Dana she done stuck her arm through there. Okay. And now when you pull it back, the lower part of your arm is gone. And that is now her reality, but it's hard for her to believe. And she said, if you want me to believe it, I gotta see it. So you gotta let me, I know my husband sees it. He's looking at it. He don't want me to look at it, but I'm trying to tell my husband, if you want me to believe this, if I'm going to have to live into this, if this is going to have to become my life from now until whenever, then you got to let me see it for myself. That's the only way I can accept it. That's the only way I can believe it. That's the only way it's going to become real for me. And so the question that I'm asking is, what is the difference between what Dana says in Kindred and what Thomas says in the Bible? Both of them said, in order for me to, if you want me to believe it, whatever it is you want me to believe, the only way I can believe it is if I see it for myself. So both of these are principles that you can pull out and say, you know what, I agree with that. I want to know. I don't want nobody else to tell me. I want to see for myself. And even if you tell me, I'm finna go looking for it because I want to know what it is. Now that's depending on what we're talking about. Because don't get it twisted. I don't need to try nobody injection drugs to understand what it feels like. I'll take your word for it, sir. I don't have to do that. I don't have to bungee jump for somebody to tell, to feel like, oh yes, I want to know what that kind of thrill feels like. I ain't got to do that. But we're talking about where we can get strength from, where we can get hope from, where we can get encouragement. Like, where can we go for what reference can we use to help us glean what we need, what information, what words are going to get us through whatever we feel like we're going through? And many of us would say, well, you go to the Bible, and I'm suggesting, yes, you can, but that's not the only book you have to go to, because Thomas and Dana are saying the exact same thing. So if you say the Bible is sacred because of what Thomas said, then that makes kindred sacred because of what Dana said. So why is it that the Bible, because it's in the Bible, oh my goodness, it's the Lord, but it's the same thing as in kindred? He's like, that's worldly. Make it make sense. I'll wait. I met somebody lately who said that. Make it make sense. I'll wait. So it's something. So we've been conditioned to believe that we can only find whatever we need for our spirit, for our faith in the Bible. And that is not true. Kindred proves it. But let me show you something else that proves it. And I'm going to pull this from the Bible because I know some people really do believe that. I know some people like, if it ain't in the Bible, I don't believe it. Hey, wait a minute. It was a phrase that people were saying back in the day. I wonder if people still say it. God said it. God said it. I believe it. That settles it. So if God said it, meaning it's in the Bible. So whatever's in the Bible, that's what I believe, and that's all. I ain't got to worry about anything else. So some people are there. Okay, no judgment. So if you're there, I want to pull it from the Bible. I want to show us in the Bible the same thing I was trying to show us with kindred and the Bible, with Dana and Thomas saying the exact same thing in two different books. Only one book you say whatever's in that book is holy. Why can't that be so about this book? So let's go to, I think this is at the end. John chapter 20, verses 30 through 31. So this is the same passage of scripture. We started with 24 and 25. I didn't realize I had all the way to 31. I only wrote down 24 and 25. It was all the way to 31, but I stopped after 25. And now I'm going to pick up again at 30. We can read the whole thing. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not trying to hide anything. But right now, I just want to pick up with 30 and 31. And I want us to read these words from, again, all of this is the message. It's all the same pericope passage that I've chosen. Okay, here we go. Jesus provided far more God-revealing signs than are written down in this book. These are written down so you will believe that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, and in the act of believing have real and eternal life in the way he personally revealed it. Let me say it again. Let me read it again for us. Jesus provided far more God-revealing signs than are written down in this book. These are written down so you will believe that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, and in the act of believing, have real and eternal life in the way he personally revealed it. So what is the message saying to us? That if you are going to realize the life that Jesus, the one you believe in, the one you say is the Messiah, the one you say is the Son of God, you've got to know that the Bible isn't all there is. That there are more, there are plenty of other books where God reveals God's self to us in whatever way God wants to. We just happen to be talking about Jesus because that's what it said in the text, and I'm just rolling with it. But there are so many other places where you can go to get your spirit fed. There's so many different places where you can go to get your mind renewed. There's so many different places where you can go to get your faith strengthened. You don't have to rely just on the Bible. And if you believe that the Bible is sacred because you do find this strength and this renewing and this understanding from it, then these other books are sacred too. There's no difference. And so what if we could lift ourselves up out of this idea that this is the only book that I can use to help me along this journey, whatever journey I'm on in life. This is the only, let's just think about this. I wonder then, I was thinking, this might not apply. It might not apply. It probably don't, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Like we got more than one hospital, right? No, don't let me talk about hospital. Let's talk about church. We got more than one church, right? And we have more than one church in the same family of churches. Let's talk about the family I didn't come from this family. I joined it. and that's the Wesleyan family. So within the Wesleyan family, you've got the United Methodist Church, you've got African Methodist Episcopal Church, you've got the African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church, and you've got the Christian Methodist Episcopal Church. All of those are Wesleyan churches, and there are some more, but all of those are Wesleyan churches. So that means that they're rooted, and their root and their foundation is supposed to be the same. So why do we have all these? Why do we have these different books that we can go to find strength for our spirit? If there wasn't a need to have some diversity in what we are learning and what we are hearing and what we are interpreting and how it's being interpreted, then why wouldn't we all just stick to that one thing? That's what we're doing with the Bible. We're saying, no, it's just this. But every other aspect of our lives, we have multiple things that we reach for. You got more than one friend? Yes. You drink more than one kind of liquor or wine or water? Because the other day I got water. I was like, oh, it's 2 for 4. I'm going to get the alkaline and I'm going to get the purified. And it's water. You say, well, one, I'm going to do something different. Yeah, that's what we think. That's what we think. And so this notion is what I'm hoping that we will just think about it. You don't have to land anywhere, but the Bible itself says God is doing work in other books to reveal to you that which you need to know so that your faith can be made whole. And that's whatever faith you believe in. I'm not going to try to tell you what your faith's supposed to look like. All I'm saying is you don't have to just depend on the Bible for it. Dana helps us see that through the kindred, and the Bible helps us see it itself through John chapter 20, verses 30 through 31. Okay. So what I want to do now is connect both of them, because I started with 24 and 25, and then I jumped to 30 to 31 because that was the flow I needed. And so now I want to make sure that we see the entire passage as one, so that we can gain a better understanding, even if it's just this little piece. I'm not trying to get you to understand the resurrection. I'm not trying to get you to understand John. I'm not trying to get you to understand the rivalry between Peter and John that don't nobody care about but John. Hey, I just found out, this is an aside, but I just want to say this because I'm wondering about this. I just found out that as a Black woman, I'm in competition with Black men. I didn't know that. It's a whole conversation going on in some Black male circles where they're feeling like Black women are winning at this game of life we playing because the system is helping us, and they mad about it. I'm like, oh my goodness, the man came at me just going all off, and I was like, sir, I ain't signed up for this. I didn't ask to be a part. I don't even know what you're talking about. And so I just thought about that because that's how John is with Peter. John keeps telling me, I'm the one that Jesus loved. I'm the one who got here first. I'm John. And Peter like, bruh, what is you talking about? I am over here doing my thing. I'm gone. Bye. Boy, bye. So let's read the entire thing together so that we can see what that looks like. Thomas, sometimes called the twin, one of the 12, was not with them when Jesus came. The other disciples told him, we saw the master. But Thomas said, unless I see the nail holes in his hands, put my finger in the nail holes, and stick my hand in his side, I won't believe it. 8 days later, his disciples were in the room again. Jesus's disciples were again in the room. This time, Thomas was with them. Jesus came through the locked doors, stood among them, and said, peace to you. Then he focused his attention on Thomas. Take your finger and examine my hands. Take your hand and stick it in my side. Don't be unbelieving, believe. Thomas said, my master, my God. Jesus said, so you believe because you've seen with your own eyes. Even better blessings are in store for those who believe without seeing. Jesus provided far more God-revealing signs than are written down in this book. These are written down so you will believe that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, and in the act of believing, have real and eternal life in the way he personally revealed it. That's the entire section from 24 to 31, John chapter 20. So let's talk about what happens. So Thomas says, I don't believe you disciples. The disciples said, look, we saw him. I know he was crucified. We know, we watched him die. That's what they say, but it's not true. They couldn't have possibly have been. The writers wasn't there, but anyway, that's what they say happened. The writers are saying that. But anyway, don't let me get started. So we watched him die. We watched him. The disciples did not watch Jesus die, but I'm just saying, okay, let's just go with it. So we know that he was dead. We know he died on the cross. And yet we can't find him. He's not here. But then we saw him after he died. Thomas was like, I don't believe that. I need to see for myself. Jesus shows up and says, come on, Thomas. Walk on over here. Here you go. See that hole right there? Which really would have been right here. I promise. I feel like I do need to say this. I'm not going to gloss over this one. I was about to gloss over it but I'm not. Let's think about this for a moment. When we see Jesus crucified on the cross, either we see the nails or we see the blood stain, and sometimes the blood is running down his hand, but it's his hand. It is not possible for Jesus to have been crucified if you believe it. I'm just going with the fact that you believe it. If you believe it, it couldn't have happened with his hands, because the way that the cross worked is that once, they were nailing him to the cross, once they let go of him, all that he had to sustain him would have been his hands, because his feet are locked at the bottom. All he would have had were his hands. So if that's all you have, then now the weight of your body is about to drop due south, about to drop straight down. So your hands right here, you don't have enough going on in your hands. Don't let me act like I know all the biology. You don't have enough tendons. You don't have whatever those words. You don't have enough to sustain the full weight of your body dropping once they let you go. So it is a more accurate understanding to believe, if you're going to believe it, that the nails were through his wrist, because now I have more to work with, more to fasten to the cross. I've got more that can hold him up here until he dies, because he's going to die from suffocation, because his chest is caving in. He won't be able to breathe. That's what he's going to die from. So it would not be possible for it to happen if the nails were in his hands. I just felt like I needed to say that. Somebody needed to hear that. But in the story, the way the story goes, Jesus shows up. Jesus comes through the locked door. Jesus is so. Now look, y'all know some of us would have been running. Can we just ever tell the truth about the stories we reading in this Bible? You cannot tell me that if somebody came through a locked door and started talking, you wouldn't be like, man. Look, come on, y'all. Let's just think about it. But anyway, so Jesus comes through the locked door. He says to all of them, peace to you. I think that's it. Peace to you. But then he focuses on Thomas, and he gives Thomas what he needs. So if we're going to talk about, if you keep going with me to challenge this notion that the Bible is the only book that we can go to get what we need, and I just showed you, first of all, that there's another book that can give you the exact same thing, because Kindred did it. And I showed you in the Bible where it says there are other books, then what that suggests to us, there are other books where God can reveal God's self to you, whether it's through Jesus or not. There are other books. Then what God is saying to us, what it sounds like to me through Thomas is, y'all need to start reading some more books, because I've got a word for you in another book. And the word will be, I know somebody out there has experienced it. When somebody says something, when you hear a sermon or you hear a song or you hear something and you feel like it was written just for you. Jesus is saying to us, I've got words everywhere in any book you pick up, because I know you and I'm focused on you. Any book you pick up, you can find me in it, because I know what you need and I can show up wherever you are. If that's your theology, that's what Jesus is saying. You ain't got to just use a book, read anything, and there I will be. Let's see. Here is, let me get this comment. Where is the, I thought I saw a comment. Oh, maybe what's happening? I'm trying to get to the comment. It won't let me get it. Is it you, Takia, saying something? I can't see it. Why can't I see this last comment? I see something that came up at 7:55 and it's now 7:56, but why can't I see it? Takia, whatever you said at 7:55, can you just kind of copy and paste and see if it'll pop up again? Because it is not letting me. I can't scroll because all the comments have filled up the page. So I need to be able to scroll to see it, and it will not let me scroll. Isn't that odd? Sometimes, look, I am a conspiracy theorist. Sometimes I feel like they be like, we don't want you to talk no more. Stop all that, what you talking about. We don't want people, no, we don't want them to know that. I can't, even if you have copied and pasted it again, I can't see it because, oh, wait a minute. Let me see if I have time to do this. Because I used to tell my mama all the time, the computer is not smarter than us, honey. We are smarter than the computer. Let me see if I can find a workaround to keep. I really think, I believe I know a workaround. And I'm working on it right now. All right, so Takia Barnes. Oh, all right. Message. Now, Takia. Oh, wait, here it go. Oh, here it is. You breaking this down today. Oh, there it is. There. Listen, because I just sent you the link, Takia, because I was looking for a workaround because I wanted to see what it is you were trying to say to us. And I just sent you the link. You don't have to worry about it now, but well, you might want to do it one day. But I used to post it, but nobody ever came on, but I might start doing it again. There is a way that you can show up on the stage with me. Some people don't like to type, and maybe they feel like it's too much to type, and so they would rather talk. And so what I would do is send you the link, and you just follow the little prompts, and then I can add you to the stage. And it'll be both of us, and you can just tell us. You can just speak the word out of your mouth, and that goes for everybody. But now that we've been able to find it, now why wouldn't let me do that a few minutes ago? Now, why when I said I got a workaround, you gonna let me do? I ain't finna fool with this computer. So that's what God is saying to us. That as long as we continue to believe that there's only one place we can go, and it's a Bible, especially once we begin to really learn about the Bible and how it was constructed and how it's being weaponized even now, for that to be the only place that we can go, that has to be depressing for some of us. That has to be overwhelming for some of us, that this is the only thing I got. I need something else for such a time as this, because this world is going crazy, and they using the Bible to justify it, just like they use the Bible to justify slavery. And this all you gonna give me? God says, no, pick up anything and you will find me, because I know you. Now, right now I'm talking about how I know God. The way that I understand the God that I serve. There is nothing about me that God does not know. I don't have to pray. I don't have to sing a song. I don't have to go to church. I don't have to give my tithes. I don't have to do anything. God requires nothing of me. Even my yes God said, I'm going to leave it open for you to do, because whether you say yes to me or not, I ain't moving. That's how I understand my God. I'm going to be right here, and I'm going to work for you right here. Even if you never call my name, that's what I'm going to do. And so anything that I call myself doing in the name of my faith, I do it because I want to. I do it because I'm grateful. I do it because I feel that grace. I feel that mercy, and I'm glad about it. And I don't mind sharing it with somebody else through whatever resources I have. Not because I owe it to God, but because I'm just glad I know God. And I'm glad God knows me. And so because of that, whatever you pick up, there's a word for you. Try it. I dare you. I don't know what this means, but I double dog dare you to try it. Pick up a book and see once you see God speaking to you. And you can tell me about it if you want to, but you don't have to. It's up to you. Thank y'all so much for joining us for the Good Fight tonight. We'll be right here next Tuesday from 7 to 8. Can't wait to see you then.